Greetings to all of our friends around the world, and welcome once again to Kourou, the home of the Ariane family, for today's launch of Arianespace flight number 235. A double launch today, an international launch, 2 new satellites bringing high definition and digital TV service to Latin America and to Indonesia. To get us underway, we go first for some opening words to Arianespace Chairman and CEO, Stéphane Israël.
Monsieur le ministre, mesdames et messieurs les élus, monsieur le préfet, monsieur le président du CNES, ladies and gentlemen, Arianespace is delighted to welcome you from the CSG for this new Ariane 5 mission, the first of the year with our heavyweight vehicle. In a few minutes, we are going to launch 2 key satellites for 2 close customers. Sky Brasil-1 for the American operator AT&T DIRECTV. The satellite has been manufactured by our long-standing partner, Airbus Defence and Space. Telkom 3S for the Indonesian operator Telkom Indonesia, within the scope of a turnkey contract with Thales Alenia Space, another close partner which has built the satellite. Thanks to AT&T and DIRECTV and to Telkom Indonesia for your trust. As you can see on the control screen behind me, Ariane 5 is on the launch pad, after having been transferred yesterday. All the operation linked to the final countdown went well. So we should be in a position to launch at 6:39 p.m., the time of the opening of the launch window, which will last 1 hour and 26 minutes. The overall performance to GTO required for this launch is 10 tons and 450 kilograms. As you know, the liftoff occurs 7 seconds after the H0, at the ignition of the 2 boosters. Ariane 5 will then head towards the east to separate the satellites on an elliptical orbit inclined at 4 degrees with respect to the equatorial plane. The perigee altitude will be 250 kilometers and the apogee altitude will be 35,736 kilometers. Sky Brasil-1 will separate first 27 minutes and 24 seconds after liftoff. Telkom 3S will then separate 13 minutes later. So our launch is now just a few minutes away. Go Ariane 5, go Sky Brasil-1 and Telkom S, and of course, enjoy the show. Thank you.
Stéphane, many thanks. Stéphane's going to take his place in what we call the fishbowl behind us here, and he's going to go to work. He'll be back at the close of the broadcast for some final remarks. In the meantime, we want to set the scene for you. We're going to take a look outside, look at the launch vehicle first. This version of the launcher, and there are 2 of them, stands 54 meters high. She's in 2 parts, a lower and a composite and an upper composite. We'll be describing each in turn as it is functioning. She was rolled out to the pad after the launch readiness review gave the green light to do so on Friday. Our 2 passengers, Sky Brasil-1, the heavier satellite in the upper berth, separated first. Telkom 3S, the lighter passenger, separated at plus 39 minutes. We have more on our upper passenger, Sky B1, in a first of a few short films coming up for you right now.
Since 23 years now, Arianespace has built a strong relationship together with AT&T DIRECTV, and we are proud to say that VA235 launch corresponds to the 10th spacecraft launched by Arianespace for this world-leading provider of digital television programs. The Sky Brasil-1 spacecraft, weighing more than 6,000 kilos, is based on the well-known Eurostar 3000 Airbus DS platform. It has been integrated on top of the CILDA structure, under which is mated Telkom 3S, the passenger located on the lower position. AT&T DIRECTV will use the Sky Brasil-1 satellite through its DIRECTV Latin America subsidiary, which offers services to 12.5 million subscribers in Latin America, primarily Venezuela, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Brazil. Once operational in orbit, Sky Brasil-1 will be positioned at 43.1 degrees west and will provide high-definition television broadcast services over Brazil. We wish the best to Sky Brasil-1 spacecraft and team.
Outside, another 9 minutes to wait. We're launching just before sunset this evening. Should be a pretty picture. Back inside, we're coming to you live, as always, from the Jupiter Mission Control Building, which is the nerve center and the heart of the space base. The workstations are staffed by 3 teams in charge of the launcher, the satellites, and the base activities. The room, as you can see, divided into 2 parts. There's a control center, or the fishbowl, and the VIP viewing section on this side. We saw a short film on our first passenger. Take a first look at our second passenger now, Telkom 3S.
Telkom 3S is the third satellite owned by Telkom Indonesia to be launched by Arianespace. This time, Telkom has contracted with Thales Alenia Space for both the satellite and the launch services, which in turn were subcontracted to Arianespace. Thales Alenia Space is Arianespace's direct customer. They are responsible for on-ground preparation of the satellite and for the early phase in orbit, after satellite separation from launch vehicle. Arianespace is responsible for the launch itself and for all related activities intended to secure a safe and smooth journey of Telkom 3S to geostationary orbit. Ahead of this much-awaited event, there is a lot of work: data processing, reviews, documentation, meetings, over a period of 2 years. Many people involved in mission analysis, operations, project management, planning expertise. In the end, we are very proud that Ariane 5 remains the reference for heavy lift launch vehicle, with an outstanding record and the confidence of customers like Telkom Indonesia.
Coming up on 7.5 minutes to go before liftoff, some of the key players, we're going to look into the Arianespace High Command, called the Flight Desk. Heading up the team, Stéphane Israël. With him, Roland Lager, the Chief Technical Officer. They will make the call should anything unexpected come up, either before or during the mission. Another person you'll be seeing today, and especially hearing his voice, is the Range Operations Manager, also called the DDO. He will be shortly calling out the 7-minute mark.
À tous de DDO. Attention pour la séquence finale lanceur.
That's the DDO's voice. He makes all the key announcements on major milestones during the countdown and during the flight, and it's his voice
H0-7 minutes.
you're hearing as he just called out the 7-minute mark, which brings us into what's known as the synchronized or the automatic sequence. This is a key milestone and represents the final moments of the final countdown, running right down to liftoff, rendering Ariane autonomous. Our stage is set for you. I'm going to make my way to the broadcast booth. While we're doing that, take a look at a short film on the launch campaign to see how Ariane has been readied for her mission.
The satellite campaign for this Ariane 5 launch has been relatively short, with only 1 month between the arrival of the satellites and the actual launch. Brasil-1 arrived in French Guiana on board an Antonov airplane on the 10th of January. Telkom 3S arrived with a similar airplane the same week on the 13th of January. Both spacecraft were prepared in the S5 facilities in the Guiana Space Center. Brasil-1 started their activities in the payload preparation facility with a fit check on its flight adapter and continued with their electrical tests. Before the transfer to the fueling hall, the xenon tank for the electric motor of the satellite was filled. Telkom 3S started their campaign with an extensive electrical test and performed their fit check upon arrival in the filling hall. Also, this satellite was filled with the bipropellants MON and MMH before being finalized for launch. After this preparation phase, the satellites were integrated onto their launch adapter and were transferred to the BAF building.
The integration campaign for launcher began in the build building beginning of December, stopping for the holiday break. The launcher was transferred for build to the BAF building the 24th of January. The flushing of both cryogenic stages were performed before the combined operations between satellites and launcher. Brasil-1 was integrated on the Silda D-10 1 day before the following integration. Telkom 3S was transferred to the BAF building D-8 and was directly integrated on top of the launcher, followed by the composite the day after. The launcher was transferred at D-1 from the BAF to the launch pad. Operation took place from 6 a.m. until the liquid helium shell fueling during the night. Everything is in order for the launch tonight.
Joshua Jample back in the booth. Everything in order for the second launch of the year for Arianespace and the first Ariane 5. Our last launch, first of the year, you will recall in late January with the Hispasat went up on a Soyuz. The green status panels on the right of your screen tell the story. We are go for launch. Arianespace coming off a big year in 2016 with 11 launches, 7 Ariane 5s, 2 Soyuz and 2 Vegas, and 12 launches are set for this year, 7 Ariane 5s, 2 Soyuz and 3 Vegas, including 6 missions between January and the end of April. So the year promising to be a busy one. Those of you taking the broadcast in French are listening to our interpreters Marc Fermin and Alexandre Carillon. Some 1,700 people are working around the space base in all here in French Guiana, and our cameras are here in Jupiter, which is the heart of the action at the base, but many, many others are hard at work at many other sites across the range. You want to take you to one. This is the launch zone, where the launch management teams are working under the direction of the launch operations manager, tonight Nicolas Robin filling the role. Right now, 2 teams are working up there. One is responsible for ground operations, the other for readiness of the Ariane 5 vehicle itself. The launch site operations manager heads up one group. He coordinates with mission control here in Jupiter for final authorization to launch. When all the conditions are right, he and he alone then okays the automatic sequence at the 7-minute mark, which we saw. In all, about 100 people hard at work up there at the launch control, going over the final checks and the final verifications on all parts of Ariane's launch system. They are closer to the pad than we are here in Jupiter. We're about 15, 16 kilometers away. They are right there at 3 kilometers. 2.5 minutes to go until launch of the 91st Ariane 5 mission. Here in Jupiter, the VIPs and the invited guests on this side of the fishbowl will shortly begin to make their ways outside to watch the liftoff. The camera might pick them up. There are 2 terraces here on either side of the building that give a fine view onto the pad, and you can see what the skies look like, so we should have quite a sight. It's been raining on and off all week, but Ariane can fly in the rain. That's no problem. This is a split-screen image of the propellant feeder arms, liquid hydrogen on the left, liquid oxygen on the right. They are putting propellant into the upper stage tanks. You'll see these arms pull back at 5 seconds before ignition when the DDO calls out "sank." It's one of the last things you'll see before liftoff. We like to take a minute and mention it. The yellow bars right in the middle of your screen going into the upper stage. 1.5 minutes to go. The campaigns to ready both launcher and satellites that began here in French Guiana over a month ago are over. The full final countdown, which began 11 hours ago, is all but completed. We're down to the wire. Everything that has had to be done has been
À tous de
done.
DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute.
The DDO is going to call out the 1-minute mark, and we will approach the final 60 seconds.
Top, H0 moins 1 minute.
Give us a chance to say hello to all of our friends in Sao Paulo at Sky B1, to Telkom in Jakarta, Selamat Pagi. I hope I'm saying that right. Very early morning to you. AT&T DIRECTV in Los Angeles. Hi to the Airbus Defense and Space and the Thales Alenia Space teams in Europe, as well as Toulouse for the community of Ariane cities. Locally, hello to the Kourou, Sinnamary, and Cayenne sites here in French Guiana. And hi to all of our industrial partners, ESA and CNES, and to all of you following on the internet. We hope you are enjoying it. We're going to cut away, let you listen to the DDO as he calls out the final seconds. Watch for the cryo arms to open at -5 seconds. That sets
À
the
tous de
ignition
DDO,
sequence
attention pour
rolling.
le décompte final.
Final countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain. Allumage UAP, décollage.
So right on schedule at 18:39 local, Ariane 5 beginning her mission, lifting off perfectly and beautifully from the ground here in French Guiana with a lot
Tous
of
les
fire.
paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Streaking through the clouds as the DDO says all is well on board, beginning her mission, the second for Arianespace this year, with 2 new telecom satellites for major regional operators. The 2 boosters are now providing 90% of the thrust, propelling the launcher along her trajectory at an ever higher velocity. 775 tons is our mass at liftoff. She's burning 5 tons of fuel per second, 2.5 tons in each booster burning per second, and the core stage burning another 300 kilos every second. Ariane 5 is now following the program and the onboard computer, which gives all the orders, including stage separations, which we will soon see. We're in the first of 4 flight phases. We'll be describing each in turn and in detail so you can follow Ariane as she heads east across the Atlantic. Right now, the first flight phase, the single Vulcan core stage engine and the 2 boosters burning together. The boosters will burn their 240 tons in just over 2 minutes, and they're the first to be extinguished. You'll hear the DDO call out that milestone in about 20 seconds. We are 15 kilometers from the pad here, but even here you can feel the sensation of liftoff. If you're watching from the closest viewing station, less than 5 kilometers from the pad, you can really hear the noise and see the light. And you probably will be able to see the burnout of the boosters. That looks like the burnout of the boosters right there, picked up on the camera.
Séparation des étages, accélération à poudre.
DDO confirms it. You see the 2 orange points of light falling away on either side, and the white light in the middle, that's the core stage burning. The boosters, give you an idea what it looks like, fall 500 kilometers from shore in a protected area. There's a second booster out of camera range on the left, of course. French Guiana was in part chosen as a base for its opening on the water. We'll have a little more on that subject later on. For now, on the bottom of your screen on the left, our altitude approaching 100 kilometers. On the right, our speed, 2 kilometers per second. The speed we need for satellite separation, roughly 9 kilometers per second. So keep your eyes on the numbers. And when we near the region of 8 or 9 kilometers per second, you'll know we are getting close to satellite separation. There is fairing separation, right on time, revealing to the elements. The blue part is our first passenger.
Séparation de la coiffe.
Sky Brasil-1. Separation of the fairing is given by 2 pyrotechnic systems, one horizontal and one vertical. Again, what it looks like up there. The other half is at a camera range on the right. We can separate the fairing now because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere at over 100 kilometers up. There's neither friction nor heating which could disturb the passengers, and we also discard any dead weight whenever possible to maximize performance. The fairing weighs almost 2.5 tons, so we can get rid of it now.
Début de la manœuvre en roulis.
We're into the second powered flight phase. The boosters have done their work. Only the single lower stage engine still burning now. It'll burn for about 9 minutes in all. Our speed is important now, and that's the role of the main stage. Cryogenic propellant is not only highly efficient, but provides a push that can last for a long time. You have noticed that there are different propulsion systems on Ariane 5. Cryogenics, as used in the main stage, are more efficient than solid propellant, which is used in the boosters. Basically speaking, solids are for getting us off the ground away from the pull of the Earth, while cryogenics are for more precision orienting of a vehicle. And of course, they can also allow a stage to be reignited in another version of Ariane 5. Ariane 5 is the heavy lift launcher. The other 2 members of the family, Soyuz, lifting middle-sized payloads, 2 and 3 tons, and Vega, the light lift vehicle for missions of 1 ton, roughly. Coming up, hopefully, is the first of a few launch replays. Here's the first one. You can re-experience those intense moments as Ariane 5 took off from the pad just over 5 minutes ago. We have cameras at several of the half-dozen observation sites that are stationed across the base here, and they can furnish us with shots from different angles. Here's another. We should have more replay footage later on. The closest observation site is called Toucan. Many of the VIPs are out there tonight. We're in the second powered flight phase, the single-engine core stage burning. The core stage measures 5.4 meters in diameter, 31 meters long, roughly the same height as the two boosters on either side, and it burns 175 tons of propellant powered by one single Vulcan engine burning the liquid hydrogen and the liquid oxygen. Liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, yes. Once a year, a launch is dedicated to a town that's part of the Community of Ariane Cities group. Tonight, that honor goes to Toulouse.
La trajectoire est nominale.
C'est un honneur et un plaisir pour Toulouse que de présider en cette année 2017 la communauté des villes Ariane. Il est vrai que Toulouse est capitale européenne de l'espace. Ce n'est pas le fruit du hasard, c'est l'histoire de l'aéronautique qui s'est écrite à Toulouse, puis est venu le temps de l'espace et des satellites. En 1968, le CNES s'est installé à Toulouse. Les grands industriels y ont leur assise, que ce soit Telespazio, Airbus, Defence and Space ou Thales Alenia Space. Derrière ces grands noms industriels, il y a quelques 400 entreprises, beaucoup de start-up dans le domaine de l'espace. Et puis, on a un tissu de recherche, de grandes écoles, d'universités. Thomas Pesquet est sorti de là. Nous avons la chance aussi d'avoir une cité de l'espace qui est un formidable outil pédagogique. Elle va fêter ses 20 ans dans quelques mois. Et dans quelques mois, elle accueillera également le Congrès mondial des astronautes. À partir de ce tissu d'excellence, à la fois industriel et académique, nous préparons les emplois de l'espace de demain. Ça se passe à Montaudran, le campus Toulouse Aerospace. Et ce que je souhaite, c'est que ce leadership que Toulouse a réussi à acquérir, nous puissions le conserver par notre capacité d'innovation. Et à travers le réseau des villes Ariane, nous devons plus que jamais resserrer les liens entre les industriels et les villes qui sont en pointe pour l'industrie spatiale.
The lower stage has another 30 seconds to burn. We're now being followed by our first downrange tracking station in Natal across the border in Brazil. All of Ariane's trajectory has been designed to be followed from the ground. The launcher is sending radar and telemetry back to the ground, and a network of stations is keeping constant watch on the health of all of our systems. Telemetry is the launch vehicle data, information we monitor on about 1,500 parameters. This data being collected, transmitted back to the ground station.
Extraction du
every
moteur
second.
Vulcain, fin de
Two
propulsion de
transmitters
l'étage
inside the vehicle
principal
equipment
cryotechnique.
bay, and the antennas outside.
Séparation de
Separation
l'EPC.
and extinction of the lower stage, and you just saw ignition of the upper stage. These three commands are given by the onboard computer in about
Allumage de
13
l'ESC.
seconds. The lower stage, and you should see it with the onboard camera in just a moment, will fall into the Pacific, here it is, off the coast of Peru.
La propulsion de l'ESC est nominale.
We're now into the third powered flight stage, the single upper stage engine, that will burn until plus 25 minutes, 14 seconds exactly, 16 minutes
Début de
in
la
all,
manœuvre en
roughly.
roulis.
With separation of the lower stage, Ariane 5 has used up all of the lower stage's 175 tons of propellant, and she has lost another 14,000 kilos of dry mass. The vehicle, you will remember, also lost 240 tons of fuel in each booster earlier after burning that up. Most of her weight, you will have realized, is propellant, is fuel. So what's left of our
La trajectoire est
775
nominale.
tons that we had at liftoff? Well, the upper stage, 19 tons. The vehicle equipment bay weighs a ton. The Silda, a carrying structure for the second satellite, weighs half a ton. We're carrying 10 tons of satellites and adapters, so roughly all that's left, 30 tons. And remember, 10 tons of that will be placed on orbit.
Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
With ignition
La
of the upper
propulsion est nominale.
stage, we can focus on the satellites. Sky B1 is up first.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux. La trajectoire est toujours nominale. La propulsion de l'étage supérieur cryotechnique est nominale.
Esse novo satélite é um projeto multianual da Sky do Brasil. Nós começamos a discutir esse assunto em meados de 2010, com uma visão de 15, 20 anos de mercado do Brasil. A Sky já tem uma posição muito importante, dominante nesse mercado, líder em inovação, no lançamento do HD e em outros produtos que fizeram sucesso por aqui. Esse novo satélite, associado ao mais moderno centro de transmissões da América Latina em Jaguariúna, vão permitir que a Sky pavimente o caminho à nossa frente para consolidar cada vez mais essa liderança inequívoca no mercado brasileiro. Esse novo satélite traz inovação, flexibilidade, modernidade, muito mais conteúdo para os nossos clientes. Então eu não tenho dúvida que isso vai ajudar a Sky a continuar liderando com o sucesso que ela obteve até hoje.
O lançamento desse novo satélite vai proporcionar à Sky a retomada da liderança no mundo HD. Nós vamos lançar novos canais, muito mais canais HD, novos pacotes, novos produtos, tanto do mundo pós-pago quanto do mundo pré-pago.
Como já falamos, a importância desse satélite para a Sky é aumentar a capacidade de canais e retomar a liderança na região. Nosso atual satélite tem 18 transponders e o novo pode chegar até 48 transponders. Além do aumento de capacidade, ele também vai ter uma performance superior ao satélite atual. Mas para alimentar esse novo satélite, nós construímos o maior e mais moderno centro de transmissões da América Latina, que foi premiado como o melhor data center do Brasil pelo renomado Instituto Data Center Dynamics. Além das inovações, ele traz critérios de sustentabilidade e traz também o que é de mais moderno na transmissão de áudio e vídeo.
La propulsion est nominale, la trajectoire est nominale.
While you were watching that film, we were picked up by our next downrange tracking station, Ascension Island, a tiny island in the South Atlantic, 10 square kilometers, belongs to the UK. Sky B1 is the 10th satellite launched by Arianespace for the operator AT&T DIRECTV. After tonight, 50%, half of the AT&T DIRECTV satellites in operation will have been launched by Arianespace. Our most recent launch for the operator was DIRECTV 15, Flight 223, back in May of 2015. DIRECTV 15 weighed 6.2 tons, roughly the same as tonight's passenger. AT&T DIRECTV's Latin American subsidiary serving over 12 million in South America. Sky B1, built by Airbus Defence and Space Toulouse, the 116th spacecraft from this manufacturer and its predecessors, to be launched by Arianespace. And in the order book for Arianespace are 17 more Airbus Defence and Space satellites to be launched. A film now coming up on Sky Brasil-1's relationship with Ariane. Take a look. We'll be back.
Dwayne, you are the Satellite Mission Director for Sky Brasil-1. How would you describe your impression of this launch campaign at CSG Space Center compared to the previous one?
Well, starting with how they're similar, both launch campaigns have gone quite well thanks to the fantastic teams involved. Our mission success above all else relies on the people involved at every level. But this current launch campaign for VA235, however, has definitely shown the positive effects of process improvements on the launcher side as well as the spacecraft side. Airbus has improved their campaign planning, and Arianespace and CSG teams have worked closely to translate that into real improvements to quality and schedule. We're very thankful for our continued partnership with Airbus, who has continued to demonstrate their strength in telecom spacecraft. They delivered Sky Brasil-1 ahead of schedule and fully compliant. And the team Airbus brought to Kourou has finished the job flawlessly. Congratulations to you on the 76th successful Ariane 5 launch in a row. Sky Brasil-1 is the 10th spacecraft that we've entrusted to Ariane to launch for us, precisely because of this fantastic quality record. Sky Brasil-1 is essential to the growth and success of Sky in Brazil, and there's no better way to ensure mission success than to launch on Ariane. The Sky and DIRECTV team started working on a custom-designed spacecraft in 2010. This satellite itself is a testament to Sky's success to date. Sky is #1 in Brazil. Sky is opening a brand new, beautiful broadcast center in Jaguariúna, near Sao Paulo. And the Sky Brasil-1 spacecraft will roughly triple Sky's capacity in orbit. That's a huge long-term increase in competitiveness. I look forward to working with the Sky team in the coming weeks and months to fully activate this exciting new capacity. Going from 18 to 60 possible transponders makes Sky Brazil truly unstoppable.
7 minutes to go in the upper stage burn, cutoff due at plus 25:14. If you just joined us, we're launching 2 new telecom satellites, Sky Brasil-1 for Brazil and Telkom 3S for Indonesia. Some numbers. Today's mission is the 285th for the Ariane family.
Acquisition de la télémesure
The
par la station de
257th
Libreville au Gabon.
launch for the Ariane family to fly from the CSG, because you know we fly also from Baikonur, or have flown from Baikonur. Tonight we are delivering our 552nd and 53rd satellites since the Ariane program began way back in 1979. After tonight's launch, Arianespace will have orbited 262 satellites built by Airbus Defence and Space and by Thales Alenia Space, which is nearly half of all the satellites launched by those 2 European operators. In all, Arianespace has launched almost 60% of satellites built by Europeans. Arianespace also launched 114 satellites for operators based in the Americas, 21 for Latin American operators, 93 for North American. The company has nearly 40% of the market share for that region. Asia Pacific, Arianespace has launched 77 satellites for local operators, also a major market for the company, which has 8 satellites in the order book still to orbit for regional customers. Sky B1, when fully deployed, will have a 45-meter wingspan. That's pretty big. A word now on Airbus Defence and Space, builders of Sky Brasil-1.
Il reste moins de 5 minutes de propulsion de l'ESC.
minutes left in the upper stage burn. While you were watching the film, we were picked up by the tracking station in Libreville, Gabon, the west coast of Africa. Interesting story. Till Ariane 3, the last downrange station, was in the Ivory Coast, a place called Akakro. For Ariane 4, we needed a new station farther east, so set one up 40 kilometers from Libreville, opened in 1986. The station receives telemetry for about 12 minutes and sees the upper stage.
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station de
It has
Malindi.
been run by CNES for the past 30 years. With the Galileo station here at the space base, that's the only French-run station in the chain. The Brazilians manage Natal and the English Ascension.
Fin de la manœuvre
We
en
want to say
roulis.
hello to Libreville because tonight is the 200th Ariane flight Libreville has followed since it began operations. And on the first flight it ever saw, that was Ariane Flight 17 on an Ariane 3, there was, curiously enough, also a Brazilian satellite on board, Brasilsat F2. Since then, Libreville has seen 193 Ariane flights. We use it much less for Soyuz and Vega missions because those flights usually go north, not east, like tonight. Another series of stations are used for those missions, Wallops Island, the Azores, etc. Coming up on extinction of the upper stage. There was a slight loss of the telemetry signal today, which is quite normal. Sometimes it
Il reste moins
happens.
d'une minute de
The
propulsion
ground
de l'étage supérieur
stations
cryotechnique.
suffer a brief blackout due to the launcher position. Tonight there were 2 brief losses of telemetry. It's quite normal. We don't lose the information. It's stored on board. In the vehicle equipment bay is something called the Central Telemetry Unit. And inside that is another thing called mass memory. The exact times and durations of the signal loss are programmed into this unit, and the unit is programmed to record the data it would normally be sending down to the stations on the ground. It's programmed also to start sending these data to the stations when the signal has returned. About 10 seconds to go until you will hear the DDO confirm we have cutoff of the upper stage engine. You'll see on the right the nozzle, then the thrust will shut down. On the left, the blue is Sky B1. The black bell-shaped structure under that is called
Extinction
Silva.
de
That's the
l'ESC.
carrying structure housing Telkom 3S. And you see the nozzle shutting down. Ariane 5 has reached her maximum speed. With the power shut down, now you'll see our speed start to drop. That's on the bottom right, remember, as we move into the
Début de la
orientation
manœuvre de
phase.
basculement au profit de Sky Brasil-1.
By the time we separate Sky B1 in about 2 minutes, her speed will be down to 9 kilometers per second. When we separate the Silda, that's the carrying structure, at plus 2914, she'll be flying at 8.8 kilometers per second. And when she separates Telkom 3S at plus 39 minutes, her speed will be down to 7.2 kilometers per second. We are in what they call the coasting phase, the free-flying phase. The upper stage has a dual role, propulsion and ballistic. With extinction of the upper stage, the propulsion part is over.
La manœuvre de
She is
basculement
carrying
se
out her
poursuit
second
nominalement.
role now. Because we're coasting, that doesn't mean nothing's happening. You can probably see that she's being spun up and around. The composite is being maneuvered. A series of about 20 operations. They range in time from a few seconds to a few minutes. What we have to do is separate the first satellite in one direction and one altitude, separate the Silda in a second direction and second altitude, and finally our final passenger, Telkom 3S, in yet a third direction and a third altitude. We use small thrusters to perform these maneuvers. You may be able to see them popping on and off in the animation. They are orienting the composite in the directions required by the first satellite right now, and then they will separate it. Then they have to start the second series of moves for the Silda, and the same for Telkom 3S. All this is programmed in advance, and the information is in the onboard computer. The launcher knows precisely what it has to do, where it is, and where it's going at all times. Coming up on separation
Séparation Sky Brasil-1.
of Sky Brasil-1, coming right on time. The DDO has confirmed it. The first good news, successful delivery of our first passenger, right on time, over the east coast of Africa. People in the hall applauding. Now that
Début de la
Sky
manœuvre
B1 is
d'orientation au
separated,
profit du
here
SILDA.
are its first post-separation maneuvers as she's pushed away from the mothership. Partial deployment of solar arrays comes tomorrow. Apogee engine burns begin tomorrow for a period of 4 days. Full solar array deployment on the 19th of this month. Antenna deployment the day after. Final Earth acquisition on the 21st. In-orbit testing and drifting to its final slot will take place during the rest of this month and part of March. So with the first passengers separated, the composite is now spun up to a different altitude, different direction for release of the SILDA. Coming up to SILDA separation, and you'll hear the DDO call out that milestone in about maybe 20 seconds. The SILDA, remember, the structure that lets us carry a second passenger. Ariane 5 known for its double launches. She's the only commercial launcher capable of lifting 2 heavy satellites. We've used the SILDA, or an earlier version of it, over 120 times. There are 7 versions of it available, ranging in height from just under 5 meters to 6.4 meters. Waiting for SILDA separation, you'll see she will be pushed away.
Séparation du système de lancement double Ariane SILDA.
And there it is, using the same system as separation for the satellites, a series of springs pushing the SILDA carrying structure away from the mothership, revealing Telkom 3S. The blue is one of the solar panels. Beneath that, the white band is the vehicle equipment bay. It's all that's left of our 775 tons. The French Guiana site was chosen in 1964 among 14 possibilities, including Australia and Scandinavia when France wanted to build a new base. They found everything here they were looking for. A large opening on the ocean. We have 50 kilometers of coastline. Low population density. Nearness to the equator. And nearby hills where radar and telemetry facilities can be installed. And those nearby hills were found at the place we're looking at right now. It's called the CVI, the Quick Look Telemetry Display Control Center. The CVI teams have all the means for receiving, processing, storing, and analyzing the data.
La manœuvre d'orientation au profit de Telkom 3S se poursuit nominalement.
Right now, the teams are following and analyzing all the key flight data and are reporting the flight status to us here in Jupiter. Later, the data will be treated to reconstitute the entire mission, and the flight will be recreated in figures from liftoff to well after satellite separation and analyzed again. There will be a CVI post-flight analysis held tomorrow here in Kourou, then in January another at Arianespace headquarters in Evry. You may know that Europe is developing the successor to Ariane 5. We're looking ahead to Ariane 6, a more market-driven vehicle to meet customer needs. There will be 2 versions, Ariane 62, an institutional version, and an Ariane 64, a commercial version able to carry 10 tons. First launch, ready by 2020. Time to look at our second passenger, Telkom 3S.
Telkom 3S is based on the Spacebus 4000 platform. It is the 77th model of this mature family. This brought to Telkom Indonesia confidence in the design and performance together with high quality.
Telkom 3S will add current Telkom's transponder capacity from 60 transponder to 109 transponder equivalent in C-band and Ku-band. Thank you to Thales Alenia Space in building the Telkom 3S satellite and launching it in cooperation with Arianespace.
Telkom 3S launch campaign has been one of the smoothest I have ever experienced. I think that this is due, apart from the maturity of Spacebus, to a real team spirit between all actors, Thales Alenia Space, Arianespace, CNES, and of course, Telkom Indonesia.
This satellite is to serve Asia region and of course Indonesian archipelago that has 17,000 islands and 260 million population. The service are mobile backhaul, broadband network, TV broadcast,
enterprise network, and consumer broadband.
Telkom 3S will start its mission at 118 degree east longitude to replace Telkom 2 early April this year and last for almost 18 years thanks to the tank's capacity and the high performance of Ariane 5. So, long life to Telkom 3S.
Indonesia, with its 260 million people spread over 17,000 islands, really needs satellite services, as you can imagine. Telkom 3S is the third satellite entrusted to Arianespace by Telkom Indonesia since 1999, a turnkey contract with Thales Alenia Space. All of Telkom Indonesia's satellites operating today, launched by Arianespace, which has 60% of the market in the Asia-Pacific region. Telkom 3S run entirely on chemical propulsion. Sky B1 is fueled by chemical and electric power. It's a hybrid, like some of the new cars on the market, now using xenon. Thales Alenia Space, builders of Telkom 3S, is the subject of our next film.
Telkom 3S is an important satellite for Indonesia and also for Thales Alenia Space. It was commissioned 2 years ago, and throughout the development phase, we are focused on the performance of the spacecraft as well as the schedule. So we are delighted that it's launched today. Telkom 3S will increase PT Telkom's C-band capacity and will also offer high-definition television and remote GSM internet services in Ku band across Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and part of Malaysia. We are very pleased to contribute to the expansion of PT Telkom's satellite activities. Telkom 3S is based on our Spacebus 4000 family. In fact, it is the 77th Spacebus ordered by our customers. We have used this time our upgraded version of the Spacebus 4000 B2. It offers larger capacity in a smaller and lighter spacecraft. Today we are very proud of this achievement and the excellent teamwork between PT Telkom in France and Indonesia and Thales Alenia Space Telkom 3S program team. This kind of team spirit and confidence in each other contributes to efficient and enjoyable campaigns. I want to thank everyone involved and of course Arianespace, and wish PT Telkom, your shareholders and your customers the very best for Telkom 3S.
Telkom 3S is the 146th satellite built by Thales Alenia Space and its predecessors to be launched by Arianespace. Telkom 1 launched in August 1999, Flight 118. That was a single launch. It weighed 2.7 tons. Telkom 2 went up November of 2005 on an Ariane 5, weighed just under 2 tons. Telkom 3S tonight weighing 3.5 tons, so the fleet is evolving. The Arianespace order book including 9 more Thales Alenia satellites to be launched. In our final film, we look at what happens to Telkom 3S after separation.
Indonesia, embracing the nation from the smallest villages to the largest cities. For many decades, we have walked hand in hand with the nation, bringing change for a better life. The only state-owned enterprise listed on both the Indonesian and New York stock exchanges. As one of the 5 best public companies in Indonesia, Telkom Indonesia has a vision, mission and strategic objectives to grow through continual improvement and to become the leading company. This year, Telkom Indonesia has rolled out its strategic portfolio, customer value through digital times, telecommunication, information, media, edutainment, and services. Telkom Indonesia offers business and product portfolio that is tailored to suit the needs of its customers. Mobile services, fixed services, consumer digital, enterprise digital, interconnection and international traffic, and network and infrastructure. Telkom's Digital Times services, supported by the synergy of 32 business entities encompassing a wide range of community needs via state-of-the-art technology and the widest coverage, as shown by its broadband backbone networks and the establishment of business services in several countries: Singapore, Hong Kong, Timor-Leste, Australia, Malaysia, Macau, Taiwan, USA, Myanmar, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Telkom Indonesia has won recognition and numerous awards. Telkom Indonesia is conquering digital technologies in the air, on land, and at sea, and is set to become the king of digital.
About a minute to go until separation of our second passenger, Telkom 3S. Separation, of course, marking an end as well as a beginning. It's an end to the launcher's mission, but it's the start of a lot of work for the ground crews around the world whose job it is to monitor and track the satellite, to test it, to place it in its final orbital slot. So those teams getting ready to take over. As we await confirmation of separation of Telkom 3S at 39 minutes 42 seconds. Moment of high concentration. Mood here in Jupiter, as was 12 minutes ago for Sky B1, I would say very focused. Tonight representing years of work for many of these people. Everyone attentive as we near separation. Eyes on computer screens, on the phones with their teams around the base or back at home.
Séparation Telkom 3S.
So the final good news and the applause from the people here in Jupiter. Ariane 5 delivered her second passenger, the last of this mission, Telkom 3S, out over the Indian Ocean. So for the minutes, tense, rough minutes, just moments ago, you can see the change here in Jupiter. Very buoyant all across the Space Center and at all the points and posts where people are following the launcher and the satellite. Work is just beginning, or soon will be, at the different ground stations for both Sky B1 and Telkom 3S, and at other sites around the world where the satellite's first maneuvers are being monitored. We are waiting now for the traditional post-separation speeches. We may also wait a moment for confirmation of Telkom's signal as it is received by its station. We're not sure if we're going to have to wait or not. If we will wait, this could take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, more or less. We don't know. Receiving the signal lets us know where the satellite is, but that's not the whole story. Sometimes, and again, it might not be the case tonight, sometimes we might need to confirm that it's on the right orbit and the quality of the injection is good. There are no major deviations from what was expected. If we can go straight to the speeches, we will be hearing from Stefan Israel, Luis Ottavio Barquizetti of Sky Brasil-1, Arnaud de Ronet of Airbus Defence and Space, Alex Sinag of Telkom, Martin van Schaik of Thales Alenia Space, and I believe from the French State Secretary for Industry, who is on hand tonight. Those gentlemen, like Stefan Israel, who are working in the fishbowl, will shortly be making their ways out to join us this side of the glass in Jupiter. I see Mr. Israel making his way to the podium, and his will be the next voice you hear.
Bien, mesdames et messieurs, chers clients, chers partenaires, chers amis, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Arianespace is delighted to announce that Sky Brasil-1 and Telkom 3S have been separated as planned on the targeted geostationary transfer orbit. For the first time this year, and the 77th in a row, Ariane 5 has performed flawlessly, So well done and congratulations to all. Tonight, Ariane 5 serves 2 satellite operators with whom Arianespace enjoys strong relationship. In upper position, Sky Brasil-1 is the 10th satellite launched by Arianespace for AT&T and DIRECTV, representing 50% of all AT&T DIRECTV satellites today in operation. So I wish to express my gratitude to Phil Goswitz, he was in the fishbowl with us, as well as Ottavio Marchesetti, who is also with us tonight, for the trust placed in Arianespace. I am sure we will have further opportunities together. Another special partner, Telkom Indonesia, in red tonight, has entrusted its 3rd satellite this evening to Arianespace since our launch of Telkom 1 in 1999. Doing so, all Telkom Indonesia satellites in operation today have been launched by Arianespace. This is a good track record for future collaboration. I wish to mention as well that Telkom 3S is the 6th satellite orbited by Arianespace for Indonesia. So many thanks to Telkom Indonesia, and more specifically to its CEO, Alex Sinaga, for your trust, and also for Ambassador Dominicus Supraticto, who is with us tonight, and we are very happy of both your presence. I wish also to congratulate Airbus Defence and Space, who built Sky Brasil-1. It is now the 116 satellites launched for with Airbus Defence and Space. We have 17 more Airbus Defence and Space satellites in our backlog, not to mention the 600 of OneWeb, so we have a lot to do together. For this long partnership, I would like to express my gratitude to Dirk Oke and Nicolas Chamussy and Arnaud Deronet, who is with us tonight. We have another long-lasting partner and direct customer for Telkom 3S. It is Thales Alenia Space. Thales Alenia Space is the manufacturer of the satellite Telkom 3S. We have orbited 146 satellites manufactured by Thales Alenia Space, and we have 9 more to orbit together. So I want to thank Jean-Louis Gall and tonight with us Martin Van Schaick, who is in Jupiter. I must say that for this Valentine's Day, Arianespace has accomplished another miracle, which is to marry Airbus and Thales Alenia Space. So we are very proud of that. So ladies and gentlemen, with our second successful launch of the year, the first with an Ariane 5, Arianespace is on track for an excellent launch tempo in 2017. I want to congratulate all our partners for today's success, the 77th in a row for heavyweight vehicle. ESA, for sure, and all the member states of the Ariane program whose support is crucial. Airbus Safran Launchers, and we have tonight with us Marc Vente, President of Airbus Safran Launchers, and Alain Charmeau, CEO. Airbus Safran Launcher is Ariane 5 Prime, first shareholder of Arianespace, and I want to thank you for the reliability and the availability of the launcher. CNES, who is for sure our daily partner here in the Guiana Space Center, our contractors in French Guiana, and all employees at the launch facility. Of course, I wish to pay my tribute to my Arianespace colleagues for the success of this 235th launch of an Ariane vehicle. Ce soir, nous avons aussi le plaisir d'avoir une délégation française.
We're also fortunate enough to have a very large French delegation tonight, so I'm now going to speak French. And I would like to thank Minister Christophe Sirugue for being here, as well as the Mayor of Toulouse, Jean-Luc Moudinque, Toulouse, which is President of the Community of Ariane Cities. I would like to tell the Industry Minister how grateful we are for France's constant commitment to the aerospace sector, and more specifically Arianespace. Ariane 6 would never have been decided so quickly. As for the Mayor of Toulouse, Mr. Jean-Luc Moudinque, and all other cities of the CVA, I would like to reaffirm our commitment to these true partners. Toulouse can be very proud of the launcher that carries its name. Thank you very much, both of you, for coming, and to all other elected representatives in the room tonight.
Welcome on the stage our customers and partners. Thank you very much.
Hello, bonsoir à tous. Le lancement a été un succès. Cet moment, c'est inoubliable pour Sky Brasil.
Good evening to every one of you. And I really enjoyed my time with the whole Ariane team, with all the Airbus team for manufacturing our satellite. The satellite will ensure a great future for Sky Brazil. I'll switch to English now.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight. It's a very exciting moment for Sky Brazil. Tonight's launch has been successful. I have no words to explain my feeling. Really, I have no words in French, in English, or in Portuguese. I have no words. It's something else. I'm truly, truly thankful to Arianespace team. Guys, you are the best. You are the best. I'm also pleased to thankful Ariane team who made a magnificent satellite to us. It's an awesome job. An amazing job, guys. I think the success of this project, you took the right partners, the right partners. And last but not least, I'd like to thank you, the DIRECTV satellite group, especially my friend, it's not my colleague, it's my friend Phil Gozov. It's here. He and his team, he did a lot of job, and Dwayne as well, Dwayne Deere. And as well, all my team, all our colleagues in Brazil, everybody. It's a beginning for us. This event marks the beginning of a new era of Sky Brazil. It's really a new era, and the future begins now. Just to finish, eu quero falar umas palavras em português para o pessoal lá do Brasil. É muito bom estar aqui representando todos vocês. Um abraço para todos aí. Um agradecimento especial para o BAP, que meu chefe, que sempre me deu suporte em tudo, e a minha equipe, que fez um trabalho maravilhoso lá construindo o centro de transmissão de Jaguariúna. Um abraço para todos vocês aí, um beijo.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Comme à la parade.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's the parade of speeches now. As a keen fan of the Stade Toulousain rugby team, a great rugby team, Stade Toulousain. They have a chant that they chant in the final: we come, we win, and we go away. It's the same here. We come here, we launch, and we go away. And we have a bit of a party before we leave to celebrate. I would really like to congratulate and thank Arianespace, Stéphane and his team for this major success. And of course, all of the partners who make a contribution to the success of this Ariane launch vehicle. There are no words to describe how amazing this launch vehicle is. CNES, European Space Agency, CSG, and Airbus Safran Launchers, of course, which is well represented here with its chairman and CEO in the room. And also Hervé Gilbert and his teams, who are not here, who work in the background and who ensure the reliability of this incredible launch vehicle. Many thanks to them. Many thanks to my own team, to the Airbus teams who have worked on this satellite for 2 years to produce a 6-ton, 16-kilowatt satellite within 2 years is quite a feat, allowing us to deliver for Sky a satellite that's going to allow it to increase its capability significantly on its geographic area. Thanks to Aziz, Jean-Michel, and all the others. The adventure of satellites with a client is a partnership. It's friendship that emerges as we work together and that lasts over time. We are producing the third satellite for DIRECTV, and we very much hope that our partnership with this customer shall endure. A final thing. The satellite is currently initializing, starting up, so to speak. It's being monitored by the Toulouse Control Center, and I've just received the information that we've received, the telemetry information. Everything is going well. So thanks and well done.
Good evening, everyone. Praise the Lord. Telkom 3S separated already from the rocket. And the only one word I want to say to Arianespace and Thales Alenia Space as our partner, fantastic. And congratulations for your hard work and high spirit. And I myself, tonight, the pressure is quite heavy in my shoulder, but a few minutes ago, released it already because of you. So thank you very much for collaboration. Thank you for the fantastic job. You did it. And for Telkom Indonesia, Telkom 3S as a milestone for us to strengthen our commitment to build our digital society in Indonesia, and of course, contribute to develop the global economy in general. And to all of you, my colleague from Telkom Indonesia, Pak Abdul Somad Arif, my network director, and all the teams, and also the ambassador, commissioner, and also from the shareholders, state-owned enterprise minister, and also from communication and information ministry. And I let you know all 1,000 Telkom people watching now in Jakarta, live. And also I would like to say thank you very much to the Minister of Communication and Information, Mr. Rudiantara. He's joined with my people in my office to watching what we just seen together. And hopefully we will give more quality service to our customer through Telkom 3S. And of course, we still wait until the mid of April to be in orbit and in operation to increase our capacity to serve our country as a big country, a archipelago country, and for also 260 million Indonesian people. And I will do the best, and all my team, I think, will do the best for the country and also for the world. Once again, thank you very much to Arianespace and Thales Alenia Space for your collaboration and fantastic job. And once again, thank you very much to all of us.
So again, a great show today. I promised Alex this would be great, and as we all saw, it was. So congratulations to you and everybody in Telkom Indonesia. We have the big red team here, which are very visible. So, and they change color every day, we found out. Your next satellite is in space and will expand your fleet, and we're very proud of this achievement, and especially the excellent teamwork between Thales Alenia Space and your company. And it was really great. Well done. Well done for this great achievement we made, the two of us. Best wishes also for the people that start working now, because we now are going to do the deployment, the in-orbit test, and so on. So it's not over yet, as we already said. In terms of this magnificent launch, and it's getting a bit boring, Stefan, because it was again according to the book. And apart from the fact that that we had one Valentine's gift, that you launched peacefully Airbus and Thales Alenia Space together, there was another gift from us, because you had today the third satellite from Thales Alenia Space arriving here in Kourou to be launched by one of your launches. And I think that as well is a good sign of cooperation and trust. Also a big thanks to the teams of Thales Alenia Space that are today, and that worked on it, but are today in Toulouse and in Cannes. We have more than 200 people in Cannes watching with their families, and we have more than 100 people in Toulouse. And of course, we are in the offices, in your offices, in Jakarta to witness it together with you, and I'm pretty sure they will be celebrating a lot in due course. We also got confirmation that the telemetry is working, which is good news. So you got the first cry of your new baby, which makes us very happy. And well, we will soon coming to you to do the test and the follow-on together. So I wish you all the best, good business for the future, and of course I hope to see you all very soon again. Thanks a lot.
Dear Minister, dear Prefect, dear Deputies, dear Ambassador, dear Mayor of Kourou, dear President and Chairman of Arianespace, and dear President of the CNES, dear Indonesian friend, a few words from Toulouse to share my emotions, and after sharing this milestone, congratulations as well to all of those without whom this operation wouldn't have been a success. All these teams, Toulouse, CNES, Airbus, Defence and Space, the Thales teams, Thales Alenia Space teams, as well as the teams from ESL. Well done. Congratulations to Arianespace, CNES and ESA. And I'd like to tell you how much I admire what you do. And I'd like to tell you how proud we are. Toulouse is the European capital of aeronautics, European capital of space. It is a land of innovation. It is a land that focuses on science, invests in research, in leading-edge industries, high industries, to promote technology and diversity. This is how, and thanks to these, that we move forward, we contribute to the growth of France. Our country will celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Cité de l'Espace, and which aims at promoting knowledge on space, promoting this excellence in the French industry. Toulouse is chairing the Communauté de Ville Ariane, bringing together both industrial entities, both in the public and private domains. And thank you to those of you who've made sure that we would be here. Toulouse is very proud of its vocation as the city of aeronautics. Thank you.
Monsieur le Ministre, Monsieur le Maire, Mesdames et Messieurs,
Mr. Minister, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very great pleasure for me to congratulate everyone involved in this 77 perfect running launch for Ariane. And I think this rewards Airbus Safran launchers, which manufactures the most reliable launch vehicles in the world, without a doubt. I would like to thank the Minister for being with us today, which is evidence of the keen interest of the government in this space center, and you have seen how we can do the best. This didn't happen by chance. Dozens of years of uninterrupted investments by European Space Agency members, by France itself. And I would like to remind you how this success is expressed for CNES in Guyana. The success of the CSG's team, which is one of our 4 centers of excellence, I would like to congratulate them. We are also investing. CNES is going to invest almost €1 billion to support Ariane 5, to fund the development of Ariane 6, and to build here at the CSG the launch pad and various other facilities. We're also developers. It's very important. I have said for a number of years that CSG is probably the key asset in the European space program, and that is why our action must benefit to Guyana as a whole, and that is why we have taken a number of measures, and I would like to thank all of Guyana's elected representatives and representatives of the state, including the armed forces, for the work they perform here to allow us to launch as smoothly as we do. I would also like to thank the mayor of Kourou, the mayor of Toulouse, and a delegation of the Association of Ariane Cities. Toulouse is chairing this association this year. It's very important in its support for the European launch vehicle. 2017 will bring space back to the fore in Toulouse. There will be the World Astronaut Congress. And the fact that this launch vehicle was called Toulouse, with both satellites that were on board were manufactured in Toulouse. CNES has its main facility there with 2,000 employees, and of course we are very happy that this was the case. I would also like to congratulate everyone for the fact that we are flying the standard of international cooperation here. We have multiple cooperations with Brazil, where I was recently, and Indonesia is a country where I shall be going in a few days with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to sign a new agreement. So a very international evening. And without further ado, Mr. Minister, I would like to yield the floor to you.
Dear Prefect, dear deputies, Mr. Berdelot, dear deputies, dear Mayor of Kourou, dear Mayor of Toulouse, ladies and gentlemen, dear Chair of the CNES, Mr. Jean-Yves Le Gall, dear Stéphane Israel, Chairman of Arianespace, dear representatives from Indonesia, dear representatives from Brazil. First of all, thank you very much for this moment of emotions and this moment of pride, as you have given us the opportunity of congratulating you for the launch of these 2 satellites, and which reflects once again the trust that is given to by our customers, but also that reflects the trust that the French state is offering to this launch, pushes even further the number of consecutive successful launches of Arianespace. I'm very proud of these. This pride is also a European pride, as much from a technological and scientific point as from a commercial standpoint. Arianespace is a commercial success for France and Europe. Arianespace, in fact, is the leader of the commercial launch services with 50% market shares. This is a great performance which we must salute, and Arianespace is offering a European service at a global scale, because a significant share of the company's operations comes from outside of the borders of Europe. So I'd like to salute your work with this successful export success stories. We are commanding €1.4 billion in revenues. 2016. This is also a source of employment, a source of economic development in France, in Europe, in Guyana, more particularly the Ariane and Vega accounts for about 15,000 jobs. The satellite line of business around 2 major operators, Thales Alenia Space, Airbus Defence, and which you have amongst us tonight.
So we have a capable industry, capable to rise up to many challenges. And this space industry, dear elected members of Guyana, dear population of Guyana, is extremely important for your territory. That accounts for 9,000 jobs directly depending or indirectly depending on this. The CSG, the Guiana Space Center, accounts for 15% of the Guyanese GDP. Despite all these success stories, we must be cautious with a view to competition. As in all other industries, the space industries is subject to competition, both from a technological standpoint as well as from an economic standpoint. And we must take action to make sure that we stay leaders on the market. First of all, there's an ever greater number of launch operators, more disruptive, notably the American competition, as well as emerging players, Indian, Chinese speed, and they want a stake in the market. And we also seen a transformation in the satellite industry with the small size constellations or the automatic propulsion, as well as very high broadband services. There's a growing interest in digital services, notably in terms of internet access, connectivity, operations of data collected. So a number of opportunities are presenting themselves. So as a result, there's been a ramping up, and in the French and European space industry can count on the support of and full support of France. France is number one European power, and Europe accounts for the top three global players in the space industries. With the support of the state, we've been managing the French policy on the initiative of Charles de Gaulle back in 1964. So the budget with 35 euros per person makes France a global leader in the space industries as a result of these investments. And this applies to observation, telecommunication, as well as launch vehicles and solutions. And this commitment encompasses all these domains. And this commitment is about supporting the Ariane 6 program up to 1.2 billion euros. And this is a historical move so that Europe can remain strong players in the space industries around this Ariane 6 launcher, around Airbus, Safran launchers, and new industrial players, which creations has been supported by the government in France. I'd like to salute the partnership between industrial players as well as local authorities where these companies operate, which has contributed in building our success. Will continue down that avenue with the commitments I mentioned, with new funding being made available to support innovative projects of the space industry. I'd like to close this speech in a more personal way, reaffirming this pride, telling you that we need, in a time where people question the European project, to remind us in very concrete terms that European constructions is allowing us to be here tonight. And that's what it is. I'd like to tell all of my friends here how happy we are to count them amongst our friends in this space dimension, telling Indonesia to Brazil, an important partner, as we know here, more specifically here in Guyana, how proud we are to count amongst our friends, to count you amongst our friends. Let's be united so that this wonderful adventure can continue onwards.
Monsieur le ministre, un grand merci pour vos mots.
Well, dear Minister, thank you so much for your kind words and for your commitment to the space sector. We shall be back here at the CSG with Ariane on March 21st, with 2 satellites, a Brazilian government satellite, SGDC, and a Korean satellite for KT-SAT. And these 2 satellites were both built by our friends from Thales Alenia Space. But before that, we will all be back at the CSG on March the 6th to launch a satellite in the Copernicus program, environmental initiative, European satellite due to be with our newest launch vehicle, Vega. So we have a lot of things to do this year, and thank you all for being here tonight.
Well, with the speeches, and with the final shots of a final launch replay, that'll do it for us from Kourou. We will say goodbye. Ariane 5's first launch of the year and Arianespace's second of 2017. A rousing success. 2 new telecommunication satellites on their way, bringing lives in space and bringing high-definition digital TV service to more people in Latin America and Indonesia. Congratulations all around. Don't forget, 77 straight successes for the Ariane 5 launcher. Our next launch, March 6th, that's the first Vega of the year, and the 21st of March, another double launch for Ariane 5. You won't want to miss either of those events. We'll be here. We hope you will be too. Until then, on behalf of everyone here at the Space Center, Joshua Jempel saying thank you for being with us. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did, and we look forward to being with you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Allumage et décollage.